Conspicuous social liberties activists are encouraging President Joe Biden to mediate on account of Shanquella Robinson, the 25-year-old who passed on under dubious conditions while an extended getaway in Cabo, Mexico. With six buddies, currently Robinson's family has held two eminent social equality legal advisors who approached U.S. authorities to remove the individual named on a capture warrant gave by Mexican authorities or assume control over Ward, and arraign the individual in the U.S. How about we investigate Mexican at the solidified? We've had the valuable chance to audit a portion of the bundle, and it has been sent the ball is obviously in the U.S. court. The State Division, the branch of equity, the next move is up to you. Definitely, hopefully, something finishes. Going along with us currently is social equality lawyer Sue Ann Robinson, to examine how she and lawyer Ben Crump are chasing after equity for Shanquella Robinson and her family. Invite back to the dark report. Sue Ann value you. Setting aside some margin for us today, obviously, whenever so stone could you at any point converse with us about what occurred at the question and answer session in D.C. last week. And have you heard anything from the Biden organization? Since we were requiring a significant level discretionary resistance, this is a transnational CRIP case, including two distinct nations, two distinct law enforcement frameworks, and keeping in mind that our clients regard that and comprehend that it's likewise been seemingly forever, and nothing is being finished by U.S. government authorities to mediate for the benefit of Shanquella Robinson. For this situation, I had the valuable chance to go to Mexico for the family on a reality tracking down mission to find solutions since they weren't finding in solution. Stateside, they were simply being ping-ponged. U.S. specialists were saying, gracious, you need to go to Mexico. And afterward, we're calling Mexico. And they were saying, no, it's the U.S. specialists, so they willingly volunteered to say, you know what, Swan, we trust you as our promoter to be our boots on the ground and be our eyes on the ground. And afterward, once I was there in the spots where was last, we went to the police headquarters, we went to the principal legal officer's office, the clinical analyst's office. We had the option to affirm a few things which incorporate that the Mexican specialists have finished their examination and given it to U.S. specialists, the FBI and Interpol, which is convention, and a removal case they need to turn over their analytical bundle. And afterward, the state office, the negotiator, the conciliatory expert in the U.S. needs to step in to either remove or take locale or request simultaneous ward, which is what the U.S. did on account of the U.S. residents that were grabbed. They quickly got simultaneous ward with Mexico. The FBI had the option to put out a prize of $50,000 for anyone who gave data, yet that was that case clearly is different meaningfully from Shanquella's situation, where she was killed. However, it shows that the U.S. policing can get current locale with Mexican policing quickly. It tends to be done rapidly, and that is truly the thing we want for this situation. Definitely so. I feel like removal endeavors have sort of fallen quiet when this case began to sort of open up. I read reports that perhaps one of those suspects was en route to being extradited back to Mexico. Is there a particular status of that removal, or any of them, to the extent that who might be viewed as suspects that you are aware of is occurring presently? The issue is for removal to be done. The convention under the arrangement is that Mexico is expected to finish an examination and afterward turn over their analytical records. The typical kind of removal that we're utilized to is on the off chance that someone from Mexico escaped at a wrongdoing in Mexico and escaped to the U.S., or someone ransacks a bank in the U.S. Right, escapes to Mexico then. At that point, it's fairly more straightforward and more customary removal to send somebody back to their nation of origin. Yet for this situation, the removal will require you, as specialists, to give up U.S. residents to Mexican specialists. And in spite of the fact that it's not, it is strange there is as yet a convention for that, or U.S. specialists can do precisely exact thing they did in the hijacking case, which is demand simultaneous locale with Mexican specialists and effectuate their own examination of the case at You and a few other social equality lawyers, remembering Ben Crump, are planning reports for sake of the family. Could you at any point let us know the reason for these records? How are all of you seeming to utilize these reports to achieve equity? While myself and Ben Crump have wrote a letter to President Biden and the Secretary of State. Basically, the letter is requiring an elevated degree of political mediation making sense of the motivations behind the reason for us visiting D.C., making sense of the things that we talked about in the question and answer session exhaustively. So there isn't later any space for the organization to say they knew nothing about the case, they were one ignorant, that their intercession was required mentioned. And we're likewise going to incorporate the records that we got from Mexican specialists. So despite the fact that our position is that they ought to, as of now, have these archives, we're ensuring that there's no space for the U.S. organization to say they're not ready to arrangement or handle with this. The issue truly to me is, toward the day's end, when there's press briefings day to day, Shanquella Robinson's name ought to be raised each and every day in a press preparation. Since she is a U.S. resident that was killed abroad, so there she ought not be getting any unexpected treatment in comparison to some other U.S. resident that was killed abroad, so I believe that the organization is bombing her additionally in like that, yet we're zeroing in on going straightforwardly to the greatest power that we would be able, and saying this political mediation is fundamental, and it's vital now. At our question and answer session in D.C., is only the family is requesting the general population and individuals who are allies of their family to do likewise, to contact the State Division, to contact their agents, and say for what reason isn't the U.S. mediating for this situation for Shanquella Robinson? For what reason isn't it being focused on it? Should be focused on. Definitely, we have about brief left, however, before we wrap up our experience with you today. How about we tap into Breonna Taylor's case, which obviously ignited a Doge examination concerning the Louisville Police Division? Might we at any point get your contemplations on the report that Head Legal Officer Reith Merrick just delivered? Any considerations on that, or